Welcome to Whiskey is a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano, and you guys are watching my series called Top 5 Whiskeys for Beginners. This time around, we're taking a look at my round 2 of the top 5 beginner scotches. And I didn't really have any kind of exciting title for this. I could have just said, beginning scotches part 2. But for this one, I may have needed to have something to catch somebody's attention. So I'm going to keep this one at my top 5 beginner scotches under $100. Scotch is pretty expensive these days, as is any other whiskey category. But this title, under $100, could actually be under, I think, like $80. Top 5 beginner scotches under $80 just doesn't have the same ring as under $100. But whatever the case may be, this is my part 2 of my top 5 beginner scotches. If you guys have been following this series, you know that I have a group of friends, a hypothetical group of friends that know that I am the whiskey guy, and they start asking me all these questions. So I just tell them, hey, why don't you guys come over? Somebody bring some food, or I'll go over to their house. They'll have the food, and I'll bring a bunch of whiskeys over, and we'll go ahead and sample them out, talk a little bit about them, and then kind of see where their palates fall. All right, so just like all the other parts, I have some parameters. First of all, none of these bottles are allocated. Now I understand that some markets are completely different than Phoenix, Arizona, so some of these bottles might not be readily available to you guys. I just have to go off of what I can get my hands on the shelf in Phoenix, Arizona. Nothing is over 50% ABV and nothing is over $100. And lastly, everything has to come from my own personal collection. I can't really share anything if I don't have it. And if I haven't tasted it, I can't recommend it to anybody. And lastly, and maybe even the most important thing, is I have a special 6th bottle. You don't want to just end the night with the 5 and say, there you guys go. You want to give them something a little bit extra to think about or to look forward to for the next time you guys get together. And like always, these get-togethers are for having a good time and sharing. It's not about what the host can tell everybody about all the individual whiskeys. It's getting together, enjoying the time, and just having a blast sharing. If some of the talking points get through to the people and there's a little bit of education that can be imparted within this night, great. But if not, no big deal. As we begin part 2, keep in mind that this is now going to be testing their palates. I really want them to concentrate on what's actually in the glass. The whiskey should be a little bit more complex, or in this case, the scotches should be a little bit more complex, should force them to think about it a little bit, not just taste them and go, oh yeah, I like this one. Oh, I don't like that one. And this is a good time to introduce some peat, because you never know, there might be a peat freak within your group of friends that didn't even know that they liked peated whiskeys. So we're going to test that out as well and see what they like and what they don't. I've got some blends, I got some single malts, I got some age stated and some non-age stated. So let's go ahead and jump into bottle number 1. Bottle number 1 is Compass Box Orchard House. This is coming in at $48. This is a blended malt, or a blended single malt scotch. This is 46% ABV. It's non-chill filtered, and it is all natural color. A talking point for this one could be independent bottlers. Compass Box is really good on the back of the label telling you exactly where they're getting their stuff from. This jumps out of the glass, as the label would tell you. It's Orchard House. This is orchard fruits. Sweet, subtle amount of peat, burst of light fruit and citrus. Everything that's on the nose is also coming through on the palate. This is a very crisp, clean tasting blended single malt. And $48, can't beat that. All right, moving on to bottle number 2. Bottle number 2 is Deanston 12. This is coming in at $72. Obviously an age stated, 12 years, single malt scotch. This is from the Highland area. And this is heavy on the nose. It jumps out of the glass. 46.3% ABV. Another non-chill filtered natural color. This is aged in ex-bourbon barrels. And on the nose, I'm getting some good vanilla, honey, and a good amount of malt as well. On the palate, more of the same. Everything on the nose is also coming through on the palate. When I mentioned that this is pretty heavy on the nose, there's a deep richness to the nose on this along with the palate. I think it's going to stop your drinkers in their tracks and want to go back already and compare these two. They are drastically different. So those are my first 2. Let me know in the comments down below if you were going to level up your tasters with a step above the basic beginner scotches, what would you guys put in this first 5? And then please don't forget to put your 6th special bottle in as well. Also, like, subscribe, share, do all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. Trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by May 1st. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you guys can help me get close. Moving on to bottle number 3. This is not going to be any surprise to some people. This is the classic Lottie from Brooklart. Some people would have thrown this into their original beginner scotches. Even though Brooklart does produce some peated whiskeys, this one is non-peated. It's coming in at $66, 50% ABV, natural color, non-chill filtered. That should be a theme here so far. And even though we do not have an age statement on this, it doesn't take away from the complexity. They are casked in ex-bourbon, first and second fill, along with some ex-wine. And there's a couple of different ex-wine barrels that they're using. I think Sauternes is one, maybe some sherry, and some other wines I can't pronounce. Much, much lighter on the nose than the Deanston and the Compass box. The ex-bourbon is definitely coming through here. Caramel, honey, vanilla, malt, light fruit, and some spice. Oh man, there is a lot going on here. That 50% ABV gives rise. It's warming in the chest, lights up your mouth. Everything on the nose is also on the palate, like 10 times more intense though. Even though there's a lot going on, it is pretty light on the nose. And again, you're trying to test your group's palate, kind of see where they're falling, what they like and what they don't like. But the Brooklart, Classic Lottie, $66, I think is a pretty safe bet no matter what level anybody's in, whether they're beginner or an advanced drinker. What does that even mean, advanced drinker? Anyway, moving on to bottle number 4. Bottle number 4, we're doing a blend again, and we're gonna introduce a little bit more smoke and age. We're looking at Johnnie Walker Green Label, 15 years old, $65. Johnnie Walker Green is another blend of single malts. Definitely get a presence of peat here. Much stronger and more prominent than the Orchard House. This one is very subtle. There's no subtlety on here at all. You know that there's peat in here. And here's a question. Does Johnnie Walker actually produce any of their own whiskeys? And if not, why are they not considered to be an independent bottler? They talk, or they say on the label, that they're using Talisker, Linkwood, Craigenmore, and Kalila. So if Johnnie Walker isn't producing anything, but they're taking their whiskeys from other places, are they considered an independent bottler? I don't know. Leave me some comments down below if you know. All right, this is coming in at 43% ABV, which might be a good indicator that this is chill filtered, and there's added color in here as well. This is not natural. Along with the peat, there is a sweetness, and this again is going to challenge your drinkers. When you have a dominant note, and there might be a dominant peat note in this, especially if they're peat sensitive, can they actually get anything else out underneath that peat that they can identify as sweet or spicy or floral or herbal? Test them out. Really try to figure out if they can actually get anything else out of it other than the peat. And the sweetness that I'm getting is apple and vanilla. Let's get it on the palate. Yeah, peat, apple, vanilla, citrus, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Don't overlook blended single malts. I know single malts are all the rage, but you would be doing your drinkers a disservice if you don't introduce them to everything in the category. And blended single malts is part of it. All right, moving on to bottle number 5. This one might be the one that's a little bit controversial. You might not be able to find it in the area. I know there are a lot of places that this is allocated, but with me, I see it all the time. It basically is on the shelf at some point within the month at the big box stores that I go to. So these are definitely available in my area. I apologize if this is not available in yours. Bottle number 5 is Springbank 10. This is coming in as the most expensive at $82. This is a Campbelltown single malt scotch. Obviously, it's aged for 10 years, 46% ABV, natural color, non-chill filtered. This is very light peat and orchard fruits. In fact, if you were actually doing this in a lineup, I would switch these two. I would introduce them to this first and then that one, because my 6th bottle is heavily peated, and you kind of want to work your way up to the most peated whiskey that you have. All right, on the palate, honey, spice, malt, a little bit earthy, light peat, and those orchard fruits are coming through as well. A lot of these are very, very similar on the palate and on the nose. And Springbank is one of those distilleries that are the whiskey geeks whiskey. They have a rich history of producing very, very good batches, very consistent batches from year to year. And because they're highly sought after, sometimes they're going to be very, very difficult to get. So there you guys go. This is my initial top five beginner scotches under $100. If you haven't already, let me know what your list would be down below. Would you include some of these? Would you exclude some of these? What would be your favorites? And again, don't forget to put your 6th bottle, which brings me to my 6th bottle. And if we're introducing peat, I'm going to introduce Octomore. This is the Octomore 13.2. This is a limited release. This came out in 2022. Definitely the most expensive one on the list. This for me, oh man, I just took that off. It is a peat bomb. I picked this up at Total Wine & More, and this ran around $250. It does have an age statement on the side of the bottle, 5 years. It's a heavily peated Islay single malt out of the distillery Brooklart. Just like this one, but this one is a peated version. Well, it's not a peated version of this. It's just a peated offering that they have from the distillery. This is coming in at 58.3% ABV, much hotter than anything we've had so far. Natural color, non-chill filtered, heavily peated. And there's something called PPMs. And this one is coming in at 137.3 PPMs. And that's phenols per million? Phenols per million? Parts per million? I always get confused on what exactly the PPM is. And that could also be another talking point. PPMs don't really necessarily mean much. It's just a value that they put on it, and the higher the number, it should indicate more peat that's in the bottle. And with this one, I get a really deep, dark, burnt barbecue smoke. This is a very savory single malt. You can pick whatever you want barbecuing. You can pick whatever sauce that you want. You can pick whatever type of smoke you want to do any of that barbecue. And whatever it is, that's what I'm getting here. Sweet smoked barbecue. Oh man. For me, there is just nothing like Octomore. The peatiest and the sweetest Ardbegs that I have don't compare to this. Any of the Lefroigs that I have, any of the Kilhomans, nothing. For at least my palate, nothing compares to that. Should place a Sinead O'Connor right now. Nothing compares to this, in my opinion, unless you're talking about another Octomore. I'm going to give this another sip. Ending the night with this one is definitely going to test their palates on whether or not they like smoke or not. And the smoke that you're getting in the Octomore is completely different than the smoke notes that you're getting in the Springbank, in the Johnny Walker, and also the Compass Box. They're all completely different. And this one sticks with you. All right, so there you guys have it. These are my top 5 beginner scotches under $100. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys would include, what you would exclude. Like, subscribe, share, do all those things that you need to do that YouTubers ask you to do. And with all that, enjoy your journey, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.